Your Excellency, esteemed guests, thank you very much. I'm really, really honored to be here. And it was a pleasure to hear your candid remarks, Your Excellency. And I will not necessarily directly respond to them, but I will maybe address and put some of those numbers in front of our audience as well. We all know why we are here. We all know the challenges that the climate change is posing, not only in this country, but global. And that's why I won't necessarily talk about the challenges, but share a perspective on how World Bank views climate and how we are approaching the issue. But before I do that, let me acknowledge and recognize the government of Pakistan's commitment, the policy, and the direction that the government of Pakistan is setting, whether it is the new NDC 3.0, the National Carbon Policy Guidelines, and a number of other policies. I work on 24 countries in this region on climate change. I think Pakistan is among one of those countries that has set the agenda right. But it is not just about setting the policy and agenda right. I think we really now need to move from that ambition, that policy agenda, to action and scale. And that's what I would talk about briefly. Now, at the World Bank, we know that climate change is making our lives much more difficult. It's not just about air pollution, it's not just about heat waves, it's also not just about flood, even though they are devastating. It is really at the heart of climate is an economic development issue. And that's how we need to approach. We cannot look at how we used to do development before and keep repeating the same mistakes. As our lovely minister and friend always says, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So with that, just let me bring few points. We know that financing is really, really squeezed. There's global fragmentation. Many countries, not just developing countries, but developed countries who had been the source of financing for many development priorities, including climate change, are facing their own fiscal deficit. So within that environment, what can we do? From the bank perspective, just to share a few facts. World Bank is, and not very many people recognize this, is that World Bank is the largest MDB financier of climate action. Of course, that financing comes in different forms, but it enables about $39 billion of financing globally from World Bank was recognized as climate-related finance. What this financing did was not just do one-off projects here and there, but it enabled green growth policies. There are several global examples. We just were in Egypt where we were discussing about $1 billion of green growth policy reform package. This has been done in many other countries. In South Africa, World Bank and its private sector arm, IFC, is enabling about $9 billion of financing package for clean energy transition. And this is happening around the world. Just last month at the World Bank's annual spring meetings, the World Bank has launched new landmark initiative because we want to move away from just the financing and counting these numbers to impact. One of those initiatives is called Water Forward. And at the core of the Water Forward is providing water security to 1 billion people. 400 million of that would be supported by World Bank and IFC financing, and we are crowding in about other MDBs, other financiers to add 600 more million people to provide finance. Similarly, another initiative, AgriConnect, was launched. AgriConnect aims to connect farmers through climate-smart agriculture practices with the markets around the world for at least 300 million people over the next 5 years. These initiatives are just examples of how World Bank looks at these and how we are looking at financing, from financing to scale and impact. Now, of course, coming from global to local, just to share a few examples, in Pakistan as well, we know, and many of you may be familiar, World Bank has committed uh, about $40 billion over the next 10 years as part of our commitment to the government of Pakistan as part of a country partnership framework. That 40 billion, 20 billion of which would be financing in different forms directly to government and private sector, and then leveraging another 20 billion. Uh, what does this financing do? Let me not just talk about what will happen in future, but what is already happening. In Pakistan, for instance, we talked about air pollution. This is Breed Pakistan. Uh, have a look at some of the projects that World Bank is supporting in Punjab, for instance. There's a $300 million project that was approved last year to work on air pollution issues in Punjab, the industry, the transportation, and other green financing initiatives. In Sindh, there's already more than $2 billion committed from the bank, and they are under implementation for flood response and housing reconstruction that is flood resilient in future. There are many, many other projects and examples, but I will not bore you and take more of your time on those. All of that information is available, and later in the day, during the climate finance session, maybe I'll expand on many of those examples as well, on how we can use that financing to leverage larger amounts of financing so that we can really have low carbon, green economic development and build resilience in our community. So with that, thank you very much, and I look forward to staying with you for the rest of it.